All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Picola Podcasters. We've got Nick Man in the controls over there. I'm Crystal, and I have two awesome guests today. We've got Chris Hendrix, owner of Diego's Dank, and Andrew Ferrara, who is a comedian and producer. I'm going to start by talking to Chris Hendrix about his product. Tell me a little bit about how you got started, what your product's about, what you're representing here.
So what I do is I grow a federally legal cannabis product. It's hemp, but it's high CBD hemp versus high THC hemp. We have a state license to be able to cultivate this. We go through state level testing, pretty rigorous comparative to the medical market, and I produce an organic product that will not get you high. Unfortunately, for those looking for the psychoactive stuff, mine's not going to get you high. There are therapeutic values to it. There's still CBD, there's still other cannabinoids in there that will relax you throughout the day without the super euphoria that people are associating with cannabis.
So it might be good for somebody who needs like a clearer mind while they're, participating in certain activities too. They might have sore bodies and they're an athlete. That might help them, CBD.
Right, it might help them with that. One of the big things I push for the smokable flower side of it is people trying to get off cigarettes. We all know from our parents and our parents' that cigarettes are full of, God knows what. It's not just tobacco in there. Well, CBD is, at least the stuff I grow, isn't full of all that. I know it's in it. We don't use any pesticides. We don't use any synthetic fertilizers. So I believe it's a better alternative to cigarettes if you're going to smoke something.
Okay, absolutely. And you actually brought some of your products. Do you want to show us some of them?
Yeah, so this is just a little bit of our product. This is some of the flour we have here, and that's our packaging for our A flowers.
Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? It's like metallic.
I love that.
That one's the cherry wine.
Right, so that's the strain we have available right now is for our soft launch is the cherry
Nice.
wine. You can open that and smell it if you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have to? It's
Oh,
all
yeah,
sealed
no,
already, or
No,
is
you
it
just
open?
pull it. Here.
Here, I'll let you do it.
So you just
Because I couldn't tell if it was you had to rip it first or anything. Oh, that one was easy. I'm used to the hard ones.
Oh.
I guess you have to like the smell of flour.
Oh, I like the smell of flour. I like the smell of this.
He's got my hand. He's like, don't move your hand. I'm just inhaling it.
So one thing to keep in mind with any CBD flower is there's still going to be very small amounts of THC in it. So if you are somebody who has to take regular drug screens for work or for something of that nature, you would want to stay away from full spectrum CBD products like CBD flower because they still will make you test positive for THC.
Okay.
Even though they don't have a huge psychoactive effect.
Okay. And you've got your pre-roll as well, right?
Right. So we've got 1.2 gram king size pre-rolls. These are raw cones, sealed for your safety. So you're getting a quality product when you go to the store to pick it up.
Okay. And it also says that it's organic, right?
Right. Like I said before, we don't use any synthetic fertilizers and we don't use any pesticides. So our products are considered an organic product.
We'll bring them up to the camera in a second. That way. Actually, hand them to me real quick. I'll be all right with that. Let me move these drinks out of my way. That way they can see them a little bit better, Nick. I don't know if I'm going to mess everything up.
Very pretty.
We work with a packaging company out of Tampa called Freestyle Prints. Shout out Freestyle. They've done all my packaging for me.
Nice.
The QR code on the bag actually goes to the certificate analysis that is required for us to have from the state to prove that it is, in fact, hemp and not marijuana.
Okay. So whenever you go to the grocery store, I've seen, an influx of CBD products. I've seen flour. I've seen THC 0, Delta 9, Delta 8. What is your product?
So our product is strictly a full spectrum CBD product, meaning its primary cannabinoid is CBD. So there's anywhere between 12 to 15% CBD in the actual flower itself. Now there's still less than 1% THC when it's finished. And if anybody has any questions concerning I can answer those because the law says 0.3% THC.
Okay.
But it's very, very low in THC. It has other cannabinoids like CBN, like CBC, like CBG that are still therapeutic to your body because like your body has a cardiovascular system, it has an endocannabinoid system. So we have receptors in our brain that are designed to take in cannabinoids.
Okay. So there's lots of benefits to it. And, if you're trying to quit nicotine, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely fantastic. So with your organic process, you go to the not the grocery store, but the gas stations, and sometimes they have these products. How do you know, like, those products aren't, sprayed with pesticides, and, not organic? You know what I'm saying? How do you know for sure? Because the regulations might be different for THC versus CBD, like a hemp flower, etc. So, your product, I remember us talking about it, you don't use, harsh chemicals or anything like that on your product. Is that correct?
Right, like I said, we don't use any synthetic fertilizers, meaning we don't use all the fertilizers we do use come from nature. I use things like alfalfa meal, bone meal, blood meal, kelp meal.
My own recipe.
Stuff that's naturally occurring. We don't use anything that's created in a lab or synthesized. We also don't use any harmful pesticides on the product.
Okay.
But when it comes to buying a product from a gas station, it unfortunately it's fallen on the consumer to do their research on the company to find out if the labeling's even correct. Because sometimes you can get a product from a gas station and the labeling's going to be incorrect.
Right. So it could say they're organic if they have a certain amount of this, even though they did this, or like if they tested it at a certain amount or anything. There's
no regulation. There's no board to come in and say, "Are you really organic? Has it been tested?
Okay.
Did it come off a USDA organic farm?" Yeah.
So that's kind of like a pickle that this industry might be in right now, is making sure that the consumers know what's in their product. And that's what I think is really cool about talking to you today, is that we know that it's safe to consume your product.
Right, and I always try being transparent because that's all I really can do. And if anybody is ever interested in what actually goes into our product, feel free to message me on Instagram. It's @Diego'sDank, and I will send you a list of everything that goes into our products. Everything is either ORMI certified, which is an Organic Material Registry Index, or it's CDFA certified, which is a California Department of Farm and Ag. And the CDFA certification is one of the highest organic certifications you can have in the state. We all know how strict California is on everything.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really cool though, because I didn't know all this stuff before I spoke to you, and I was, not to sound, I was unknowledgeable. I didn't have that knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do all my research, so I actually thought that certain things were like synthetic, and whenever they weren't, you know what I mean? Like a Delta 9, I found out that was not synthetic. I found out that Delta 8 is synthesized but not synthetic. THC 0 or anything with an O on it, you explained that would be synthetic. So that would be something that you would want to stay away from if you're trying to stay away from synthetics.
Oh.
Yeah, you learned something. The O.
I stay away from the O.
Yeah, sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. In this case, it's good. Do we have comments or chat? Anything?
We have a comment.
Yes.
Okay. The comment comes from Ron.
Okay.
Yeah. He said, "If a bug eats your plant, does it get high?"
So only mammals have cannabinoid receptors. Mammals and fish.
Fish can get high.
So yeah, your goldfish you can get your goldfish high. That's a fact. And any mammal has a cannabinoid receptor, but insects don't.
Didn't know that. See, he knows everything about this. You know everything.
The more you know.
How did you? What kind of research? How long did you research this?
How many goldfish did you get high?
That's a better question. Thank you.
Does the goldfish turn green? That's my next question.
I plead the fifth on ever putting a goldfish in a pond.
Yeah, there you go. Plead the fifth on.
PETA, please don't come after me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're trying to get this man canned before he even gets out there on the market.
I am.
You're like, hey PETA, guess what? Over here getting goldfish high.
This is actually a sting. This is a sting operation.
Sir, we need you to put your hands behind your back. Yeah.
I'm from the Goldfish Association of America.
How many 25-cent goldfish have you killed, sir?
Well, actually, if you ever get them from the fair, I think it's fair game because those die anyway.
Yeah, they're already on meth. So
I didn't know that.
All goldfish at the fair. Meth
I had
addiction.
no
It's
idea
crazy.
about that. That went
That's probably how they ended
to
up
another
at the
level.
fair. It's like rock bottom for goldfish.
Yeah, actually, the carnies end up at the fair because the goldfish have the meth. It's weird.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh my lord!
I
Well,
love fairs.
I do want to let y'all know who are viewing. If y'all are confused about the room, it looks a little bit different than normal. I want to let y'all know that we are actually inside Electric Serenade at Play, which Play is located in downtown Pensacola on Palafox, like next door to Vinyl Music Hall and all that. You have to come here for karaoke. I'm here on Thursdays, 10 to close. But they were gracious enough to let us use this room since they didn't have anything booked in it today. So if y'all want private karaoke, y'all make sure you're going to electricserenade.com and checking that out, because this room actually looks super awesome. Behind Nick, there's photos of musicians. It's a beautiful room. I can't even.
How does it work? You're not in here with us when we do private
you don't have a
karaoke?
DJ. You got a tablet over here. You can type in your own thing. So if you want to skip the rotation, all you got to do is get to that tablet first, I guess.
Oh, snap.
But no, about the wall behind me. If I can do that, you can see photos of all different kind of celebrities.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm up there.
Come out and check it.
Yeah, Andrew's somewhere in there.
Yeah,
you're in the
that
crowd.
mugshot.
Yeah, Johnny Cash. You're Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I mean that was my original name.
Oh, okay.
I got it changed.
I understand. So where can they get your product?
So right now you can find our product in 2 stores locally in Pensacola. You can find us at the Greenlight District on Barrancas, and you can find us at Pure Health and CBD in downtown Pensacola.
Okay, and we're at downtown. We're like right here.
He was the first CBD shop to open up in Pensacola, and he is on the other side of the Civic Center from here.
Okay.
I don't remember
Just
the name of
right.
that
I think
road.
I know. Is it 9th Avenue? Like right there, the next road after?
No, it's not 9th Avenue. It's right there under the bridge. I believe Emerald City was there several years ago.
Oh
next
yeah,
door.
that road. I cannot remember what it's called, but it's like if you're going towards the handlebar.
Yep.
It's to yep. That's where that's located.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of tucked off there in the corner. He's got a really nice, beautiful shop. He's got tons of full spectrum CBD products. Really good stuff. The guys down at Greenlight District too, they have a great selection of cannabinoids. They're really knowledgeable on their products as well. Both stores are. I wouldn't put my product in a store where the owner wasn't knowledgeable on what he was selling.
Right. Absolutely. So I think that's awesome. I really do. And you actually multiple states, right? You're certified, or you do stuff in multiple states?
So we're working on multiple states. We're in Tampa and Miami as well.
Okay, that's where
and
multiple cities.
Right.
That's what I was going for.
One of the shops I work with in Tampa has a location they're opening in New York as well. So once there's some waves being made in the New York cannabis market right now. So once those waves calm down, we're gonna see how the laws settle and see if we can't get some product in New York.
Awesome. Well, Andrew was actually in New York not too long ago.
Yeah, I was. 3 months. I was doing a residency at Broadway Comedy Club and performing there, and Greenwich Village Comedy Club, and performed at a couple other clubs too. I loved it. Fun time, but expensive, and they mean.
I was about to say,
they're not mean. They're not mean. They just don't want to hang out, you know?
Yeah, they're not as laid back as Pensacola people.
Yeah, we chill in peak cold.
Yeah, we all friends. I feel like we all friends.
Honestly, everyone's just on the move in New York. Like, you can do 5 open mics in a day. So, like, you get on stage, they get off stage, and they go to the next mic. So, but I'm the type of person, I like to watch people's comedy.
Yeah, you want to respect their art, too, for being at that night.
So I'm thinking, I'm going to watch everyone's comedy, and then I'll have so much to talk to them about, and then I walk outside, and they're all gone.
It's a really hard way to have a conversation with you.
And it didn't help that I moved there like right when Omicron hit. So like everyone I knew were just like, hey, we're not really leaving our house. And I was like,
how am I gonna do this? Yeah.
But you live, you learn, it was still a good time. The shows were awesome, you're at big old comedy clubs with big audiences, so that's nice, but
So comedy, you do Yikes comedy here?
Yeah.
And you're also, check out his shirt, y'all, Car Cake Community.
Car Cake Community, baby.
Car Cake Community.
Yes, follow us. Okay, so we'll begin with Yikes because it leads into Car Cake.
Sure.
It does. So Yikes comedy, I started after stuff started opening up again around these parts. We did our first one at Emerald Public. That's where I met y'all.
Was that the first night?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, we were there for the first night.
It was so nice.
That was like Thanksgiving though, wasn't it?
Oh
Like,
wait, okay, so you were there like one of the first nights.
Okay, so I was
One of the very
close. I was
first
so
nights.
excited that I
Yes.
had made the debut. Which was really
We
good.
swear
I
she
would've never
did.
known. I would have never known. And
Yeah.
it wasn't your first, or you just got started with it, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all were funny.
We had a good time. Well, we've all been performing for a while. Like we were at a swingers bar connected to the Days Inn. Real swanky place. Loved it. But we've all been performing anywhere from like 5 to 15 years, among everybody that's there.
Right.
We just
Decided
we're in
to
a
come
Days Inn
together.
basement.
Yeah.
But so started doing that over there, and on October 1st of this year, we had our 2-year anniversary of doing shows for Yikes, and we did it at Vinyl Music Hall, which is
Yes.
awesome. 2 years after we started, we're at the biggest entertainment venue in
Yeah, like
Pensacola.
musicians can't even get in there sometimes.
I
and it's
know.
for music.
And they
you
reached out
get
to
in with comedy?
me. They're crazy.
Impressive.
No.
They
No,
were crazy. They,
I love
they
them.
immediately regretted it.
I
Just
love-
kidding. They loved you.
We-
I know they did.
Dude, we have sold out both the shows we've had at Vinyl so far. So
that is impressive.
yeah, so it's going really, really well. We have our next one on December 17th, and that's the Comedians in Drag Doing Comedy Show.
Which obviously is going to be awesome.
It's so fun. Anna Lepoli is a traveling comedian who's been going all over the country and also Canada, doing the show where she goes to a city, she gets 4 of their local comedians and gets them to do drag for the first time, or if you've done her show before, not the first time. And it's just always been the most fun event that we have here, and she always wants to come back all the time. Because she said Pensacola commits to the bit, is what she said. She's just like, I love it there. When you guys go up there, you care. You care. It's like, yeah, because we want to be good drag queens too. It's not just about comedy. We need to be queens.
Exactly.
I'm She Horny Weave Hair. Yeah, she's
a mouthful.
yeah. Oh yes, she
I love
is
that
a
name,
mouthful
by the way.
indeed.
I love that name.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of her. When I first created her, I went a little too weird with it. I was like telling the crowd that I was the love child of Sigourney Weaver and the alien from Aliens. Like I'm the one that popped out of his chest. It wasn't connecting.
Went there.
It wasn't connecting. But then the second
You're
time
like,
I did it, I
that's weird.
won. I've won 2 times now.
Really?
2 times. Once in Fort Walton, once in Pensacola. That's right. 2 towns, 2 crowns, baby.
Yeah.
But no, Yikes Comedy, we had our 2-year anniversary at Vinyl, and it was such a super special night. We sold out and we oversold. We ended up opening up standing room tickets and everything. And I brought a cake because I was like, we should celebrate. It's Yikes' birthday. Yikes is 2. We're getting a cake. But we all were just partying and did not cut the cake. We totally forgot to cut the cake. And it's an expensive cake. It was from Publix, y'all. Like, those expensive. And you don't just waste a Publix cake. And so the next day, I had my show in Birmingham for Kenan Thompson's National Comedy Competition. SNL's Kenan Thompson, all that.
Kenan and Kel.
Get the Kenan of Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, that's a good burger.
Ooh, that was a good burger. Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was all that.
the Dougie, Pierre Escargot.
Yes.
It's classic.
But he has a national comedy competition. This is the 13th year, and he said, I think they said 2,000 comedians submitted, and I got selected to be a part of it, and I was chosen to be in the Birmingham, Alabama show at the Stardome.
Okay.
And that was just so cool. I've always wanted to perform there, first of all, and then to just be on the showcase in general was an honor. So I was like, all right, well, you know what? I got this Keenan show tomorrow. I'm gonna bring the cake. It's a 4-hour drive. I'm gonna bring the cake. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're eating the cake.
Yeah,
We're gonna eat the cake.
got this cake, we're eating it.
So
Who doesn't
we
like
have the cake in the car, and we decide we're gonna eat it in the car too, because you know
Why
what?
not?
Like, you always eat cake at a table. Why not a car?
Yeah.
Where have you eaten cake?
All kinds of places.
All kinds of places.
Where?
But mostly like birthday parties.
No.
Weddings.
Like physically,
By a pool.
by a pool, at a table.
I'm trying to think of my most
At a
interesting
table,
place.
right?
Yeah,
At a
mostly.
table?
Or staying.
Were they mostly at tables?
Mostly, yeah, I'd say.
That is a shame, because cakes are very versatile. They're mobile. You can have a cake anywhere. And I suggest you try cake everywhere, especially in
Is
a
it
car.
a different experience? In a
Oh,
car?
it tastes so good in a car. Oh, cake tastes great in a car. You just haven't tried it.
I haven't tried it.
And you have to.
I wish I had cake right
You
now.
need to have car cake. You need to have
Okay.
car cake. But, along the way, it's a 4-hour road trip. It was still hot. It got a little melty. The top layer
Yeah,
slid
what kind
off.
of frosting did you have?
It was buttercream.
Oh, that's the good stuff. That's the ones
It's
I like.
also the melty stuff too.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It melted. And it literally slid off. It
like
slid.
the layer.
Yeah,
literally
the top
slid off
layer
the top.
slid off. It was
It was
melted.
just like asking you to eat it,
was
though.
kind of fucked up.
That's okay.
So yeah, we realized though in this experience that car cake is kind of like a touring comedian, because a lot happens on the road when you're on a tour. Anything can happen. You don't know when it's gonna come, but tragedy will get to you at some point on the road. Like, you pop a tire, whatever. There's lots of little things that happen that affect the road, and a cake in a car is gonna get a little messed up. It's gonna get smushed when you go on a turn. If you hit a bump, it's gonna get smushed. It slide. Lots of things
Hit the
happen.
brakes hard. It flips in your floorboard.
Yes,
Do
it
you still
does.
eat it?
Fuck yeah, I still eat it. Like, it's cake, and that's the whole thing. That even if a cake's a little messed up, if you
Still
arrive with
tastes
cake, it still tastes delicious. It's still gonna bring joy.
You gotta pull that hair out of your tooth.
Exactly. And to me, that is so much like a comedian, because a lot happens to us on the road, but we still get to the venue and we bring people joy, and you're none the wiser. We're not necessarily talking about everything that happened. I've seen comedians get up there and be like, I did this and this and this happened and this happened. I'm just like, okay, I get it. It happened to me too, baby.
Yeah.
But for example, the prime example of what has happened to me on the road that really got my gears turning on this. On my very first cross-country tour, I went with the Feral Hogs, Hillary Begley from Netflix's Dumpling, and Bridget Martin. And the third day of the tour, there was a freak blizzard and ice storm, and we were 10 hours into an 11-hour drive when it hit, going up the Ozark Mountains. Yeah. And I lost control of the car, and it was either go off that mountain or into the mountain. And so my decision was, I think we'll die if we go off the mountain. If I'm weighing the death scenarios, they both end in death. But I feel like maybe we could get out of hitting the mountain,
Yeah.
So we hit the mountain, and we survived. All of us survived.
Well, at least you made the right choice.
Here's the thing. I had a reoccurring dream my entire life that I was going to drive off a cliff accidentally, and I feel like it was training me for that moment. Like, I did not drive until I was 28 years old.
Really?
Because I had that recurring dream. Yeah.
So you had a fear of it. And then you were driving
and then I
on
lived
a
it.
cliff?
On a cliff.
How did you feel about it before you got on the cliff?
Well, my thoughts was,
Remember
you know what? I wish I had known this was at the top of a mountain. I would have been like, maybe we not do the show in Eureka Springs, Arkansas at the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
But we were on the mountain already. What are you gonna do? You crash into the mountain. That's what you do. But we bounced right off. We bounced off the mountain and just kept driving. I was like, it's good. It's good. We're good. We just kept going. I was like, well, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna worry about it. Just get to the venue. And we get there. I'm like, dang, we made it. We must be good. And then I see the faces on the people walking by. It's like, oh, it's bad. it's real bad. It's real bad. And so Bridget had checked us in. She came back out. I was like, how's the car? And she's like, let's just look at it tomorrow.
Oh,
It's like,
it
no.
was that bad.
It was bad.
Like, I don't want you to look at it.
But
at all.
it was all cosmetic. The car was totally fine. It looked like it couldn't drive, but it could. And we drove it across country and back still.
Car sounds like car cake.
And that car was car cake in itself, honestly.
That top layer came right off.
Yeah.
It crumpled right up.
It did. It took me like a year to fix it. Because I was just like, ugh.
What kind of car was it?
Oh,
Matters.
it's the one that's outside. It's my Toyota Corolla, baby.
Okay, Toyota Corollas. If you ever live near mountains, you're gonna have to get
You're
one of those.
good.
They bounce right off.
Bounce right off.
Only cosmetic.
Made of flubber. But, that experience kind of got me thinking a little bit that we are all car cake. All comedians are car cake. Traveling musicians are car cake. Traveling artists are car cake. So much happens on the road to us, but we bring joy when we arrive. And my thought process is that we are all better together. We are a community as comedians. There's so many infighting in comedy scenes. That's super petty drama, BS, that you're just going to deal with in any comedy scene. But I feel like we can all just put things like that aside, support each other, and
Be collaborative. Yeah.
Exactly. And what I'm planning to do with Car Cake is we have the Car Cake community group on Facebook. You should follow, be a part of it. We want to act as a safety net for traveling artists and comedians and musicians. So the more comedians and people who want to support join the group, the better. So let's say you're a traveling artist, you pop a tire, you're making money, bad money, no money basically for whatever you're going to do. Whatever money you are making now has to go to this tire. But maybe you send out the car cake bat symbol,
Yeah.
and maybe there happens to be 100 comedians who can donate $1,
Right. Right.
and then you got a tire and you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah. And it doesn't take much for that community to be like, you know what, they're in a pickle. They're on the road. They don't need to spend $150 or $100 for this.
Yep.
And we got to get them back home because we would want people to band together for us to do the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's really cool that y'all have each other's back like that. It's not common.
Well,
really.
I'm hoping to make it common.
Yes.
That's my goal. It's very not common. And people who even people get crap for posting a GoFundMe or when they need help. People talk crap about people who do that, oh, look at them just trying to get free money. It's like, no, look at it as someone needs help. I've got $1. No one's asking you to donate $2,000 when they have a goal of $2,000.
Yeah.
Whatever you can, if you want to. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So why are you gonna be rude about it?
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But to me, it's important that we all just support each other. If something happens to one of us, we should all have each other's back, because one day something might happen to one of us and be like, dang, you know what? I wish I was part of the Car Cake community. And I hope you join.
How do you join?
Oh, join just by being with us. Join the Facebook group, Car Cake Community. That's where we're going to post any Venmos, Cash Apps, GoFundMes for comedians around the country who need help in some way or another. I actually posted a GoFundMe for a comedian in Panama City last year. Her name's Janet Fortune. She had to have surgery on her lung, and the surgery had a 13% survival rate. Yeah.
Ooh.
And she survived.
That's because Car Cake community pulled her through with that positive energy.
Well, baby. Here what went down. So I started the GoFundMe. She was just like, I really need help. Is there anything you can help do? And I'm just like, okay, I'll put this together. We'll get your bank account connected to it and everything.
Yeah, that way it goes.
Yeah, straight to her.
Yeah.
I don't need to see.
Transparent.
Yeah. And I went and visited her because I ran her open mic for Car Cake. The Car Cake takeover. The takeover of Panama City.
That's hard to say.
And we everything with Car Cake's hard to say. Even what it is. But I went out there, interviewed her about her experience and everything, and she told me they raised, the GoFundMe raised, I think she said it was $8,000. So I had no clue. I started it and then shared it and everything, and that made me realize while I was interviewing her about Car Cake, I was like, oh my goodness, we already did Car Cake community with you.
Yeah.
She still has. I think it was $30,000 surgery or something like that.
Yeah.
She still has bills, but
that's
we were able to do a big chunk, and that was not even an organized community effort. It was, posting the Venmo or posting the GoFundMe to different comedy pages. It was the same thing that I want to do, but I had no idea what we could accomplish, really, So it made me feel like we could really do this. And I've met so many comedians from all over the country, and I feel like should get behind it. There's no real reason not to get behind it, is what I see it, unless you're just mean. But I think we can all support each other in more ways than just laughing,
Yeah.
And we should be laughing. How about we all stay inside during the open mic and laugh at each other? Okay? Can we not all smoke cigarettes? I mean, I smoke cigarettes. But let's all support each other. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go hide whenever everybody else is. It's important. It's the same thing with bands.
Yeah.
You go see a band and, the opening band plays and then people don't show up because their friend's band isn't going to be till later. And then, you know what I mean? And it fluctuates throughout the night. And then you have people that sometimes leave early because their friend's band already played. And then the headliner's got 6 people in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And the place was packed. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Hold on, I got to do the same thing Andrew did. So,
T.O. music.
Hey, that look is trademarked.
It is. Yeah, so you owe him money. And then
royalties, please.
put that thing in my
hand.
Well, shoot.
Reference, a lot of reference.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, wait. It's a wallet.
It's a Car Cake donation. Thank you. Here, you can hold on.
It's not my wallet, but I thought it was because it's the same colors. It's now.
It's
Thank
yours.
you.
It's yours.
Oh, you're not going to pass it back?
No, why would I?
You donated it already.
Why would I? It's in my pocket.
But with Car Cake, I'm trying to build the community in a few different ways. My main thing that I'm doing right now is Car Cake, the series. Ooh.
The series?
Yes, I have been filming every show for the past 2 months and interviewing audience members, interviewing comedians, wherever I go. Most of it's Gulf Coast, but I went to Oklahoma City, going to Phoenix City, Alabama, went to Denver. So anywhere I go, I'm bringing cake and a camera.
And hoping it makes the cake makes it.
And we're gonna film it, and we're gonna spread the word about the Car Cake community, let comedians know what it is, and also showcase independent comedy scenes around the country, because there are so many good indie comedy scenes. There are so many good comedians out there that just don't have a chance to be seen at all because of what city they're in. And I hope that I can showcase all of these wonderful people and build that support group through it while showcasing their talent, so that not only is it we're supporting each other, when we're in need, but we're also showcasing the talent and why we have to support each other, because we all have to promote each other's talent as well.
Right, because it kind of falls apart if you don't have each other.
Exactly.
You can't. You do shows every week, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go see Andrew. Okay, well, sometimes it's like, well, now I'm gonna go see Andrew and Ethan Nutt, and I'm gonna see this person and support them. So it becomes very inclusive, and you get to know these people. And every time I've gone, everybody's been real friendly, very open to talking to you about stuff, and very your comedy shows. I went to the one at Little Madness Brewing, and I actually got up there. Yeah, and I'd never done stand-up comedy, and everybody was super welcoming, and I felt great whenever I got done.
Yeah.
I was mortified at the beginning.
Well,
I've never done it.
It's so
It's
hard.
a hard thing to do.
It's so hard for new comedians in general to get up there for the first time, and then to feel accepted too. Because I feel like for a long time, there's clickiness in comedy scenes where like these are the vets, and these are the mid card, and these are the newcomers, and it's hard to break through anywhere. And I really wanted to foster an environment where new people feel comfortable and feel welcomed, because it's very hard for that to happen. There are comedians that quit because they didn't feel welcomed, not because they didn't love comedy. They didn't feel welcomed, and that's a shame. Like every person who wants to do comedy should get to do comedy, whether someone feels that they're a comedian or not, or if just because some comedian who's been doing it for 15 years doesn't think you're funny.
That's their opinion.
You know what?
Don't know
it's their opinion. And guess what? It's your first open mic, baby. You're probably not funny, and it's okay. Because they weren't funny, too, at their first open mic. Right. And if they want to say they were, they lying. They lying.
Yep.
Or someone just told them.
Oh. Or somebody definitely got a comment?
Yeah. We actually had a question from Ron again, and it's directed to both. Because where do you see your business in 5 years?
We're gonna pass it to Chris. Where you see it in 5 years?
So I've got some scaling in the works. Right now we have about 200 square feet of canopy. This time next year, I will have about 6,000 square feet of canopy. I'm working on some projects that I don't want to talk too much about, but in the next 5 years, I plan on having 12 to 15,000 square feet of canopy and full flower production, which comes out to about 100 to 150 pounds a month during our harvest seasons, which is like 7-8 months out of the year.
Okay, so you got to build all those people to distribute it. You got to find all those relationships and do all that too. So that's a lot of work, and I think that's great that you're doing that. That you're doing that for yourself.
It also allows me to employ other people too, because there's no way I can handle that kind of load by myself.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be able to employ everything from trimmers to garden workers to package people to retail workers. The goal is to have a completely vertically integrated hemp CBD business that, fingers crossed, if the state ever decides to open up rec and open up new licensing, all the infrastructure is already built.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's awesome. What about you?
Well, it's hard to say, because in 2 years we've done way more with Yikes than I expected. I did not think, I don't think I ever thought Pensacola comedy would get into vinyl at all. I never thought it would. And 2 years later we're there, which I'm so proud of that. I feel like everyone, it legitimizes Pensacola's comedy scene, to have them in a place like that. So my goal for the next 5 years, I would love for there to be Yikes Comedy Club, because Pensacola needs a comedy club.
Like a specific location?
It needs a hub. It needs a comedy club, because, some of those big name comedians, they're not even looking at Pensacola, because they search for a comedy club in Pensacola. There's no comedy club.
Saying Pensacola needs a laugh factory.
Pensacola needs any Comedy Club. I don't even care for the Laugh Factory. I think it should be the Yikes Comedy Club. That's just my thought.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I want it to be mine, okay?
Mine.
Life Factory S or Life Factory S.
Don't care how I want it now. Okay. I'm Veruca Salt, basically.
Oh yeah, can't
I'm
find
the worst. I'm the worst.
That's where I went.
Ugh. You either love me or you hate me. I'm not for everybody. But yeah, I want there to be a comedy club in Pensacola. I want to be involved in that in however way possible. And I want my comedy festival, P3 Comedy Fest.
Yes, that happens every year. How long have you been doing that?
This is going to be our 4th year coming up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and my
Longevity.
plan, I want to be the premier #1 LGBTQ plus comedy festival in the country. And right now, it's pretty shocking how many people know about it. Like I was in Denver 2 weeks ago doing a show, and I was talking to people afterwards, and I was just like, oh, I do a comedy festival, you should apply for it. And they're just like, wait, you're P3 Comedy Fest. I was like, yeah, I am, actually. And like in New York, when I was up there, someone said the same thing. Like, people know of this comedy festival, which was shocking to me. I mean, I do post it everywhere on every comedy, festival Facebook page, every, comedy scenes page, but who knew it only took that little effort? And let's say, now the festival itself is not little effort. It's insane. I don't know why I do it all by myself. I'm dumb. I do have amazing help from my community, though. Olivia Searcy, Delicia Nicholas, Lamar DeFore, they've all come out and helped a lot for the Comedy Fest. But yeah, I want it to be the biggest gay comedy festival in the country, and I want that comedy club, and I want the Carcake community to be viral. That's where I want to be. I want this to be something that I would love there to be an app. I would love there, I want there to be
build and grow.
Something special to come from this little car cake. It's just a little car cake.
Right. Just a little one.
Just a little baby. Oh, and this art, just by the way, this is by artist Poppy Garcia.
Poppy.
Everyone loves Poppy. He won Best Artist in Pensacola for Best of the Coast like 45 times. I don't know. I'm not sure. But he's an amazing pop art cartoonist. And he did our shirt logo.
Awesome. Nick?
Now, Ron commented again. He said there used to be a comedy club.
Coconuts.
Yeah, Coconuts. Exactly what he's talking about. Coconuts Comedy Club right by Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yep. Years ago.
That's a long time ago. Have you ever been able to perform somewhere like that? Or
Oh, I performed at a lot of comedy clubs.
Well, I'm saying at Coconuts.
At Coconuts? Not Coconut. I don't know where
I don't know how
they
long
even
ago
have
it was.
anymore. Oh no, that was before I even started
before you
doing
could,
comedy.
yeah.
But we've got a comedy zone in Fort Walton that I've gone and done and stuff. But we've just never had. I think Coconuts might have been like 20 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was like early 90s, and then I think it closed down.
Yeah,
Like
we didn't make
early 2000s maybe. So, but I feel like this is the time for a comedy club, because during lockdown, people were just watching stand-up comedy specials. Like, it was wild when lockdown ended how many places wanted to do comedy. Like, we had, like I said, one venue at a Days Inn swingers bar in a basement on the corner of Palafox and Cervantes. For 10 years, and then now after lockdown, we're at, I don't even know how many places anymore, because we got Yikes is at Big Top, the Dock on Pensacola Beach, Vinyl, Doc's Hop Shop, and then we've got Rated R Comedy. Ryan Pfeiffer runs that at Whiskey Runners, and they've taken over the Little Madness one.
Okay.
So, and then they also have like this afternoon show at Little Madness. And then
y'all really spread out.
And then Gail Misunderstood, if you don't know her, she is amazing. Freaking amazing. You should have Gail on here sometime. She runs shows at 411 Lounge, a bunch of Wisteria, Sammy Barker's. Like, so there's like 10 venues for comedy now, and we had one for 10 years. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's unheard of. You know, you got some people that are like, "Where are all these comedy shows coming from?" You know, and I'm like, I know where they're coming from. This guy done inspired everybody too, because you know you got everybody excited about it. You really did. You did something for the comedy community, and I think that you need to. I think that you need to take a moment sometimes to realize how awesome that is for yourself. I know that you might.
I didn't. You know, honestly, it's very easy to feel unappreciated as a comedy producer because people, they don't realize how much you actually do. Like, I have to do all of the flyers, I have to do all the advertising, I have to pay for the advertising, I have to book the venues, I have to go put up flyers elsewhere. You know, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot I have to do. That booking the comedians, figuring out all the pricing and everything. It takes up all of my time. All of my time.
Yeah.
And I work 2 jobs. Plus I do shows of, you know, elsewhere too. So it's really easy to get down on yourself when you're producing shows because you feel like you're doing so much for people and not getting anything, which, you know, like, it's not about just you, but it should have something to do with you. You know, like, I'm putting a lot of effort in, and, you know, I've struggled with, you know, as a producer, you're going to make people mad because you have to make decisions. Once you're someone who makes decisions, people are not going to like you in some way or form. You know, and it's just how it is. It's not
the decision that they wanted, and differ.
And I'm a very, very passionate person, which is why I think it's done so well, is because of my passion. But because of that, my passion can get the best of me, I will say. I mean, I just feel very strongly. I feel very strongly, and I feel very strongly about comedy and what we can do. So I get tunnel vision sometimes, and, you know, like, you know, and a lot of people maybe don't see what I'm seeing, but if you trust me, just let my crazy mind go for just a minute.
It's been working. Let it happen.
Like, I promise, I would like to say I promise I'm not crazy, but I am crazy. It's like I need to be like, I promise I'm crazy, but crazy good. You know,
right.
But it's just a thing. I'm gonna be a polarizing figure no matter what because I'm in that position, and I am the person I am. I'm weird as fuck. But, you know, no matter what, like, I can't lose that passion because it's what's gotten us to the level we are. Okay. And the other night we had the Clowns of Music, which is an all-musical comedy show where we all wrote comedy songs together. And after the show, everyone that was on the show gave me a book that's I think it's like The Art of Thinking Bigger or something like that.
Yeah.
But they all signed it and left messages and about like how like I always think big and they can't wait to see me think even bigger. All this and never, you know, all this really nice stuff. And I have never gotten that kind of recognition. And I guess I found out in that moment that my love language is what is it, actions? I don't know.
Gifting.
Gifting, you know,
like small acts of service or gifting, those types of things.
Yeah, like
it's more of what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word, Nick? You gotta help
acts
me.
Of service? Is it acts of service?
Is it acts of service? I want to say it might be.
Yes, it's acts of service.
Acts of service. That's what I realized in that moment. I was like, that I felt super appreciated there because you know, words of affirmation. I don't mean crap to me, honestly, because so many people lie.
So many people can say, "Oh yeah, you did a great job,"
like all the time.
I run karaoke. I lie sometimes.
Like I will, you lie all the time. You lie nonstop. You did such a great job.
Yeah, we did together for Bob. It was awesome.
And that's just my thing is that like. I can't trust anyone's intentions, just like no one seems to trust my intention. You know, like you can't. And so for me, like I can't trust when someone says like, "Oh, we appreciate you so much." And it's like, "Yeah, but I heard you talking shit the other day." People talk. Not you. Don't worry. Well, you do talk.
I don't know. It
on
was
podcasts.
intense. It was intense.
I
was
get
was
intent. I
it
told
was
you I'm passionate.
so passionate.
But you know, that's just the thing. You know, I'm like a hippo, baby. I'm very docile, but don't mess with me. I'll bite your head off.
That's right.
But it's just it. I'm a passionate person, and I just want to bring everyone along for the ride with Car Cake by their side.
So I noticed that we talked about how you got your car cake name. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got the name for Diego's name?
So Diego's Dank is named after a friend of mine, Chris, Diego, Alfred.
Okay.
Ethan, who's with Car Cake, he was a good friend of Ethan.
Ethan was with the original Car Cake.
Mm-hmm.
The original.
So Diego wired one of my first grows, and told myself I wouldn't cry.
Okay, you're okay.
He's no longer with us.
Right.
So.
Right, and I think that that's actually a really honorable and like respectful thing for you to do. You know what I mean? People are going to remember Diego through the name of this brand, and I think that's awesome, and that you paid homage to him in that way.
Oh yeah, I tell everybody. So we've got sweatshirts made, and I put
Yeah, show the screen here. Small batch Diego's Dank Craft Creations. I don't know if they can see it on the screen or
right.
not.
So you can get these at diegosdank.net, but I had these made so that Diego could be on everybody's back.
That's awesome.
Diego's got your back, baby.
Yep, that's
Always.
exactly it.
That's the cool thing.
So that's how we got the name. I just wanted to do it in remembrance of him.
I mean, all I'm saying is that if I was Diego, that better be good weed. I'd be up there judging. I'd be like, there's some things.
I need this.
I want some clouds bursting out of the clouds.
Yes.
Well, he'd tell you that it's better than the stuff you'd find in the dispensary, and
hey,
that's what he'd tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
Been doing this a while. I actually started back, I believe it was 2014 in Colorado, back when rec first passed. I rented a 4-bedroom house in Aurora that had a 2-car garage, and I had built 4 flower rooms in it. Each flower room had 6, they're called single-ended high-pressure sodium lights. They're air-cooled. It's like the big old school. They pulls air through them.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of them. 2 of the rooms ran from midnight to noon, and the other 2 rooms ran from noon to midnight on the same power.
Okay.
It's what's called a flip flop, so you can pull as much power out of there as possible, and that's where I learned how to do all of this. I came back to Florida, got a job working for a dispensary. Left that dispensary, went to Karma Corps, which is a nonprofit based out of Florida here that helps veterans get off opiates and barbiturates with CBD. Helps them get their medical cannabis card here in Florida. Shout out Josh Lenny. He's the president of Karma Corps. He's a great guy. He helped me get into the hemp market after I left the medical marijuana market.
Okay, that's awesome. So you both put some time, effort, passion, and all of this stuff into what you're trying to produce here, and I think that that's awesome, and that's why we had you come on, is because you guys need to know about these people. Okay, y'all got to tune into this podcast and meet people like Chris Hendrix and Andrew Ferrara. Am I saying that right?
You are. Thank you.
I'm just making sure.
Everyone says Ferrara, but you're saying it right, and I love that.
Yay! Cool points for me.
Yeah, it's Italian.
It's a spicy meatball.
It's a spicy meat Ferrara.
Oh man. But I definitely appreciate y'all coming here, and once again, y'all, if y'all are tuning in and y'all think this room, it looks cool or whatever, this is Electric Serenade at Play. You can book it online at electricserenade.com.
This place is awesome.
It really is. They came in here and we couldn't even talk about anything to do with the interview because they were just like, wow, this used to be where the pool tables were.
I love
It
teal.
looks great.
There's so much teal, and I love teal.
Yeah.
It's really well put together, all aspects of it, from the brick walls to the pictures on the wall.
And it's
There's
teal.
a brick wall. If y'all can't see this side, but on this side there's a brick wall. It's teal on this side with the musician. You can see that in the background.
And it's teal.
It's teal. super teal, and they've got like these cute little velvet.
Better teal.
Well, it might not be velvet. It might be like suede or something. Touch
Suede.
Suede,
Maybe.
and they look good, something like that.
They're
But
very nice teal seats.
yep, they're gorgeous. It's like you just want to walk in and touch everything.
Yeah,
almost.
it's like you just want to see how teal everything is.
Exactly. And for those of you that do karaoke and y'all are like, when's my turn? And I'm like, you're 35 away, and you're like, oh my gosh, guess what? You come in here with a party of 12. You're never going to be more than 12 away. You don't do it in a rotation, first of all. Second of all,
It's pretty bad if you
cut
come
the
into
line
the
if
party
you're
and you're
running
the
the party.
13th away.
if you're cutting, you can cut the line. I'm just saying, if you're running the party, you cut the line.
How many people you
But there's an
need?
app, and you just walk up to it and type it in.
How many people do you need to be able to rent this out?
I don't know.
Party
One.
one?
I would imagine.
Because I will come in here, I will
We
jam
just
out by
technically
myself.
used it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Look, man, I'm just saying, by yourself, let's do it. You can practice if you really want to.
Oh, I practice my karaoke. Practice.
Well, I'm gonna say prove it. You need to show up to one of my gigs.
Oh.
Look at that! Look at that!
Ooh, I prove it in the shower.
Well, maybe after this, I can see if they'll let us turn this thing on for one. Because that's what we should do one day.
Yeah, why is
We
this not
can't,
just a
though.
karaoke podcast?
because they'll take down our stream.
Oh,
Because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
copyrighted. What you got, Nick? You got a question for Chris? I almost called you
Yes.
Diego.
Um,
Mr. Diego's Dank.
Pete, or as we know him as Preston, he asks, so what do you use for light growing now? Is it a full spectrum LED or?
So what we use in the indoor facility, they are HLG 650 R specs. It's a full spectrum LED from Horticulture Lighting Group based out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
You have everything on lock. I would have to write all this stuff down. You're like, it's these people that produce this. It's this model of light, and I'm like, I'll forget the model. You're so good at this.
So when it comes to growing, the light you use in indoor growing is kind of like the engine of your car.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask somebody who has been growing as long as I have been what light they use, they should be able to give you all those specs
Yeah.
on their light, because it'd be the same thing as if you asked a race car driver like what engine's in your car.
And they said, I don't know.
Yeah,
It'd be ridiculous.
exactly.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't grow. That's just proof to you, police out there, that I don't grow no weed. Okay.
And also, Preston said that he said Pensacola Music Hall, but I knew what he meant. He's talking about not really the vinyl. He was actually thinking about like the Sanger or the Rex. He said they should start doing it if they don't.
Well, the Rex did do it, but the Rex is run by a church, and they wanted 100% clean comedy, and even the clean comics they got in, they were upset about things they said, even though they were clean comics. So they dropped that.
Yeah, it just kind of clashed.
And that place would be amazing, but it's owned by a church.
What about the Sanger?
Now, the Sanger Theater does have comedy every so often, only when a huge name comes in. And normally they don't even ask us for openers or anything, because usually if it's a big name, they're bringing their opening act with them.
Yeah,
and that's just kind of how it is. And I don't know, the Sanger, like I think they just don't. I don't think they want it, honestly.
Yeah. Do you have any goals of somewhere you'd like to perform that you haven't performed at yet? Like dream venues?
Oh, well, I want to go to the Comedy Store in LA for sure, but I just want to perform everywhere.
Anywhere,
Anywhere
there's
and everywhere.
people.
That's
Let's make
right.
some folks laugh. What about
Do
you?
it.
You want to distribute anywhere specifically, or just anywhere, everywhere? Where'd it take me?
So I know the likelihood's low, but if you're watching Philip Morris, in 5 years you can come by me.
There you go. Goals. 5 years. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Selling to.
or if anybody from True Leave, Move, or any of the other licensed dispensaries in the state are watching, give me a year and we can do some contract growing for you.
There you go.
Yep, and same to any of the cake dispensaries in the area. I have such a good grow setup. I have the perfect lighting to grow cake. It's full spectrum cake.
Is it made with real sugar?
Oh, it is cane sugar.
None of that synthetic stuff.
None of the synthetic sugar.
No Splenda?
No,
Yeah.
maybe some booger sugar. But no Splenda, no Truvia, none of that.
None of
These
that
cakes,
garbage.
it's
Real stuff.
exactly. It's made of cakes and cars.
There it is.
A naturally sourced cars.
Oh, even better. Even better. Organic.
From the car farm.
Organic cars.
Car farm. From the farm.
That's like,
The seats can be organic.
that's true.
Ooh.
Yeah, pieces and parts. Pieces and parts.
There you go. See, you get a car and you get some of the organic hemp to make the seats. There you
Ooh,
go.
can we make a car cake strain?
It's a possibility.
People will only buy car cake. Car cake CBD.
Can I be honest? He was like, eh.
Well, I thought about it. It's about a year commitment. If you're willing to make the commitment, we can do it.
He wants to do it. And here, this is a lifetime.
I was thinking, that was my thinking brain.
Yeah. Here's what just happened here.
We just made connections. This is networking.
This is how it works.
I got the plug.
Well, I'm sure there's a certain bond with cannabis and comedy.
And weed and cake
Yeah,
too.
true.
So-
Cannabis and coffee.
And cake. I like cake.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Get the cannabis.
Someone made me a weed cake once for my birthday.
Did they really?
Yeah. Ooh, it was good. It was a green tea mochi cake with weed. I was shocked.
What birthday
It was also
this?
like a pineapple coconutty. It was my 32nd birthday.
How many years ago was that?
2.
So I knew you kind of maybe by then.
You kind of
And
knew me.
So
with
you
it.
mean
you
that?
You did meet me.
So you mean that I didn't get tried on this birthday cake?
I was in Los Angeles.
I wasn't invited to Los Angeles. To try
I'm
this birthday cake?
sorry. Did you want to crash into the mountain? Because
Never
you would
mind,
have had to
never
crash
mind.
into the mountain to get there.
I retract my statement. Never mind, y'all. Never mind.
I promise. If you crash into a mountain, I will get you a weed car cake.
All right, who's got a mountain?
Preston said
Right here,
grass-fed car
baby.
cake. Or grass-fed car
I crashed
cake. My
into that.
bad.
Mhm.
What do you say? I'm
I
sorry.
said Preston said grass-fed car cake.
Grass-fed carpet, that's right.
Ooh. Oh. Well, if the butter that was used for the buttercream was grass-fed beef cows, right? That's like organic butter. We can have organic car cake.
You technically
Grass-fed
could.
car cake.
And we could also talk to our friend here about maybe if we could. Is it possible to like do like a can of butter with that type of flour?
It's possible
I
to
had to
put
ask.
cannabis into anything.
But I mean, like with your flour, you could do it just like any
So
incorporate it.
I work with a small batch extractor out of South Florida, and actually just sent him a whole bunch of material to extract. And when it gets back to me, I can put our CBD into literally anything. I don't know if you've ever heard of a product called distillate.
Yeah.
You can put distillate into anything that's already activated. You just you make it, you add the distillate, and you keep making it. And so once he's done doing that extraction, we'll have all kinds of products we can make from that.
All right. Well, we're gonna have car cakes then.
So this is what you do. This is my plan, and don't tell nobody, okay?
Don't tell nobody, huh?
What
Turn
you
the
do
camera off.
is you extract the product, put it into the car cake,
Yep.
and then serve it to the comedians,
Yeah.
and then record that. And then,
Yeah.
but make sure before that they sign a waiver that's like, some bullcrap that's like, oh, you're being recorded, la-di-da, just make sure that. But it's some like little tiny print. Be like, by the way, the cake.
Did we? Oh, dude, I went to a psychedelic comedy festival.
Oh, they had that in there, didn't they?
They made so if you were on the show, you had to either trip on acid or on mushrooms before going on stage.
Oh, like truly psychedelic.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I did. And man, it's not a great idea to talk about your dead aunt to a bunch of people who are tripping.
Oh yeah,
I learned that one
yeah,
because the last joke was a joke about me being a fairy godmother because all this stuff, and I thought it always hits, but not when
you're tripping.
I'm tripping. They don't hear the rest of the joke; just hear dead godmother.
Godmother, yeah.
No.
That's terrible.
Also, like you start a joke and you forget the meat. It's like you start a joke and you just punchline. Like it's like the only between it is like I told the whole joke. I swear.
I do that when I'm on some dank stuff. Forget. I'm like, yeah, and it was like this, and it led to this, and they're like, but you missed all of this story, Crystal. We got something in there. Checking the. Okay, making sure. All right, yo. I think we might be able to wrap this up at this point. I really appreciate y'all joining us. Is there anything y'all like to add? I would like to go ahead and get y'all to plug your socials before we go. So I'll start with him.
So
it got really itchy because we were talking about weed. I just gotta get red.
So you can find us on Instagram at Diego's Dank. You can find us at Diego's Dank CBD, and you can find us at Diego's Dank Clothing. You can find us online at diegosdank.net. Anything you need from there, you can order our products directly through us. We always have a link in the Instagram story that will link you to a Telegram page, and that Telegram page is where you can talk to us and place your orders. We're working on getting credit card processing, but because we are a CBD company, we have to have what's called high risk credit card processing,
which probably isn't cheap either, huh?
It's just a process.
It's just you just got to go through a bunch of steps.
Yeah, they want you to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. So we'll get that up and running. If you can't get in touch with us directly, you can always find our products at Greenlight District on Brankus or Pure Health CBD in Downtown Pensacola.
Awesome. And what about you?
Hey everybody. It was very nice having you come to my home.
Yes, because that's where we're at. Not Electric Serenade inside play.
Yeah.
ElectricSerenade.com.
And thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So you should follow my Instagrammers. Funny AF Comedian. And then you need to follow Yikes Comedy Night, P3 Comedy Fest, and Car Cake Community. All on Instagram. Make it happen. But go join the group on Facebook, Car Cake Community. That's where it's all going down, baby. That's where it's all going down. The memes, there's memes.
There's memes?
There's memes.
I'm there.
From all over the country.
Really? All over the country?
Comedians all over the country just sending their cake memes.
I'm all about them cake memes.
Cake memes are big. But yeah, follow P3 Comedy Fest if you want to know more about the comedy festival on Memorial Day weekend. Follow Yikes Comedy so you can know about all of our shows going on. Actually, gallery night for this month is all about Yikes Comedy.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, it's a comedy bar crawl. Wear your ugly Christmas sweaters and pop from bar to bar on Palafox. There's a comedian at each bar. And at the very end, at the main stage, is me. And, that's...
Yeah, you don't want to miss this. Can I invite you? Let me help you.
Casting couch. Did they see it?
I was like, let me help you.
Some hairy legs.
They're not
that hairy.
It's actually really soft.
I am relatively hairless for an Italian.
Especially right here.
Look at we can go further.
You don't want to get the angle too much.
I told you, I'm passionate.
Yeah, you forgot to wear underwear too, didn't you?
Oh, I refuse. You know what? It's not a forget.
Chose not.
It is a conscious decision.
Feels.
I do, especially this fabric.
Oh, yeah, it is kind of soft.
Isn't it now?
But on that note, y'all make sure you're following all of us on our socials, including Picola Podcasters. And thank you, Nick, for manning the controls over there, even though you were super quiet. And by the way,
I do have to see that.
We had too much fun.
That's what we do. But just so y'all know, once again, electricserenade.com if y'all want to book this room for private karaoke events. All right, on that note, I'm out of here, and so is Andrew Ferrara and Chris Hendrix.
Are you related to Jimmy?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's so funny!
We had
Are
it.
we off? I'm not even sure we got that.
We'll just end it on that.
Just
No
shut
answer.
it off.
Just no answer. Just it's a cliffhanger.